Why, hello everybody and welcome to today's video. It's going to be a little bit more controversial. I didn't want to touch it for a while, not until people got used to me and everything. But with some of my friends having such a huge and negative view on the song, and people jumping on the bandwagon because they're just taking what their friend says at face value and not looking into it themselves. I felt it was time for me, being mainly a centrist with some views leaning on the left and some views on the right. Yes, I am a part of the LGBTQAI plus community, so this is why I feel that my voice needs to be heard, and me having a platform, yes, my YouTube following isn't the biggest, and most of my followings are on Twitch and on Instagram, but I felt like this was something that needed to be said because I wish to try and bridge the gap between the far left, the far right, and those in between. So, without further ado, we're going to be, as you all know, for some of you who've been here before, we watched the videos twice. I give my points. I have the lyrics on this side just so I can follow along because I do have ADHD. That's partially why I have to do the video twice. So I have it on the sides just because I know this is going to be very controversial and things need to be said and things need to have a little bit more of conversation about. Now, let me just get through the disclaimer of, do not send any hate to any of the parties, whether it's Tom MacDonald, Blaire White, or myself. This is not what these are for. These are for my reactions and my personal views, and me trying to react to a video that just seems to be blowing up and being ever so controversial. So without further ado, let's watch the video. Let me just fix that.
If you lie to the government, they'll put you in prison. But when they lie to all of us, it's called being a politician. You think taking guns away will save our kids from the killings, but you're pro-choice. Abortion kills way more children.
Okay, that line, very, very, very powerful, straight out of the gates. Okay, so it is true, America could use with a little bit more laws when it comes to guns. Background checks, etc., etc. Here in Canada, we have a lot of laws. Whether or not people agree with said laws, it still helps weed out some of the people that may or may not be stable enough to have a gun. And you are only allowed X amount. It has to be in a gun safe, etc., etc. This would help. The abortion thing, that one, very tricky. I feel I am very pro-choice. I do support in abortions in certain aspects, whether it's from SA or grapes. I'm going to use that word because those of you who know the video will know what I mean. If it will cause health issues, potentially killing the parent or the baby, or if it has, like, the child to become is going to have life-threatening, life-debilitating problems. Abortion is not used and should not be used as a form of birth control. In my personal experience, I've known people who have used it as such. So if you're going in that frequently, you might want to, see what you can do to prevent yourself from having to go in so many times. Because there are things that we can change. There are places in Canada and the US where you can get birth control or contraceptives for free or at little cost. It's like when you get into an accident, if you have no more brain function but your body is still working, the hospital can legally unplug you because you have no brain function, thus you're not really alive. As soon as the brain forms, I think that's when a life is created. Some people will be like, disagree. Everyone is entitled to an opinion. It's whether or not people respect your opinion and let you have it. They can disagree. It's the attacking that people should stop doing. Like, you shouldn't be calling people names just because they have a different outlook than you do.
If America's so terrible and racist, it probably isn't safe to encourage immigration. Just saying, all the contradictions are embarrassing. You know who hates America the most? America.
Okay, so I believe what he is trying to say is, if you come in to immigrate into a country legally, it is okay, because then you have documentation, they know you're there, you can start paying your dues and stuff to be a part of that country because you want to be there, so you must put into it from what you take out of it. Again, it's a touchy subject, but it's like, you wouldn't like it if I just like came up and was like, hey, and just start using your stuff and food and stuff, and we're like, where is it going? What's going on? It's like ants, you know? Ants. They come into your home, they take what they want, and they're basically freeloading off of you. It's kind of like that. If they were documented, then they're putting into it just as you are. Like I said, I have a hard time trying to articulate some of my words, but I try and find examples that I can bridge the gap as best as I can.
Saying all the contradictions are embarrassing. You know who hates America the most? Americans. Trigger warnings used to be on TV for seizures, and now they're everywhere to protect millennials' feelings. He, she, his, him, hers, them, they. Screw a pronoun, because everyone's a retard these days.
Okay, I am a person who prefers a they, them. I am gender fluid, so I moved fluidly between a male, a female, both. I usually have a very androgynous look. I find I have introduced people as a they, them. Some people I've said, hey, I've just come into realization that this is what I am. And sometimes, even though I knew that I was gender fluid like 10 years ago, it took me about 8 years ago to actually start telling people, hey, I'm now comfortable to bring this up, but I'd prefer it if you call me a they, them. I've had a few instances where I've met new people and I'm like, hey, I'm Shinra, I prefer they, them pronouns. And they say, okay, cool, introduce me to as them and their pronouns. And then a few months later, one of my friends had suddenly changed their pronouns from she, her to they, them. I didn't know, I was not aware of it until her husband brought it up, because I had asked them, hey, how did you like my bath bombs? I made a bath bomb delivery. I was there for half an hour, 45 minutes, and I accidentally misgendered them because A, I was used to calling them a she, her, and they're projecting themselves as a she, her at the door. And I was like, hey, sorry, I'm still getting used to this. So this is the first time I've seen you since you've changed your pronouns. I will do my best in the future to call you the correct pronouns. They, on the other hand, continued to misgender me the whole time that I was there. I was like, hey, those are not my pronouns. My pronouns are they, them. And they're like, oh shit, sorry. And then proceeded to continue doing that. After I had left, I was like, hey, I did you a solid after the whole mix-up and everything, and brought the bath bombs to you. Normally I don't usually do that unless I ask for extra, just because it takes a lot of time out of my way and bus fare to get to you. I felt like you didn't respect me and my pronouns, because the whole 45 minutes that we were talking, you continued to misgender me, and I made an effort. I misgendered you once, and I continued to respect your wishes. I feel like you do not respect me enough for my pronouns, and I feel that you make a big stink that you wanted yours to be respected. Well, why are you not showing the same respect to me? I've had people who have said that they are non-binary, but they will try every which way to steer the conversation into them being non-binary. When I say that, I mean, we'll be talking about food or something, and they'll bring it up and be like, oh, I'm non-binary, so I don't like king-sized chocolate bars. I'm like, why not? Well, it's got a gender in it. I'm like, it's just a bigger chocolate bar. Why are you having such a fit over it? Well, there's no non-binary chocolate. I'm like, it's a fucking chocolate bar. I've had people make huge things. I've known a lot of people to make big things about it, and I feel like those shouldn't happen because you're just making it so that people do not like you. It's unfortunate. If you keep nattering on that you're this, they're gonna get tired of it and not want to deal with you because you always have to bring it up in any form of conversational setting. My friends, for example, they sometimes will refer to me as a she. The ones that I talk to on a regular basis. And if they have forgotten, I'm like, hey, it's they, them. I'm like, oh shit, sorry. I'm like, no problem, you're trying. My partner calls me his wife, and I don't mind. I've been called sir. I've been called a ma'am in my everyday today life. Many a times, I mostly get misgendered as a him. And that's fine, but it's usually because that's how I carry myself and project. I'm not trying to pass, it's just how I naturally project myself when I'm in a more masculine mode that day. Like, someone was like, hey, sir, or excuse me, sir, you dropped something. I'm like, oh, hey, thank you so much. I've had people come up to me and was like, ma'am, would you like to come and see this new product? And I'm like, no, thank you. I giggle and I walk away because I think it's funny to me, especially like it's just a thing. Like, you can project yourself as how you wish, but just know that people may misgender you because the way that you present yourself, whether you are able to or not be who you want to be in the way that you dress, there's some subtleties that you can do should you want to try and avoid that. I'm not saying that you have to pass. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying, for example, when I'm in a more masculine mode, I will walk more with my shoulders than my hips. For example. I've been doing it since high school. For example, there was my friend and I, opposite ends of a high school hallway, we're walking to each other. I'm like, huh, is that a new chick over there? Didn't have my glasses and I didn't realize that I needed them. I couldn't see far away. I'm like, huh, is that a chick over there? She knew because I don't recognize him. My friend, he had the same problem. He thought I was a dude. And he needed glasses. And we walked up. I'm like, oh, hey, so-and-so. I'm like, hey, Shin, how's it going? I'm like, dude, I thought you were a new chick because I heard that there was a new girl in the school and I thought that was you. And he laughed and was like, haha, I thought you were a dude this whole time and then I realized it was you. And I'm like, hey, well, now he's a drag queen and I'm gender fluid. So all in all, I guess we're both right. But so long as we're not making a big stink about it, like, oh, I am non-binary, I only smoke regular smokes, not king smokes, because I'm non-binary. It's just like, shut up. You're bombing a smoke off of me. Stop being a dickhead, you know?
hear him preaching at the protest that hatred's the problem, but hating straight men, white folks, and Christians is common. Coca-Cola telling people they should be less white. They preach intolerance, but if you disagree, they fight. There's a race war here, elections based on fear. Black lives only matter once every 4 years. Soldiers died for this country, and every one of us benefits. Give welfare to the bums and forget about the veterans.
Okay, so he said that Black Lives Matter only matter during election time. Well, that's the same in Canada, but instead of black people, it is the Indigenous, First Nation, Aboriginal peoples. They only care when it's election time, because they want those votes. Unfortunately, right now, Canada does not have a very good standing with the Aboriginal people for a multitude of reasons. The most recent being the I know the word and I just lost it. The oh my god. Basically, there were schools that they took Aboriginal children and beat and tortured them so that they didn't have their language, their culture, or their customs anymore. Residential schools, there you go. I knew I'd get there eventually. Anyway, so recently they found at one of the residential schools 216 children remains, like child remains. 216. That is fucking disgusting. The last one that was closed was in 1995. So there are still survivors of residential schools. A lot of the Aboriginal people who were taken to these, they don't know their language. Like some might know a little bit because were able to like swirl it away. Some native bands don't have that luxury. Some of them have nothing. It's a shame, and this is why the Canadian people, like us as people, as the taxpayers, are trying to get the church and the government to basically atone and fix what they did. We should be past this by now. Race shouldn't be a thing, but it is. I see people for who they are. If they're a dick, they're a dick. I don't see the color. But some people do. And honestly, it needs to stop.
Soldiers died for this country and every one of us benefits. Give welfare to the bums and forget about the veterans. Black folks and white folks divided by the news, but we are all the same. We are red, white, and blue. Ashamed to be American? Okay, that's cool. Cause honestly, we are all ashamed of you too.
Y'all are so fake. Oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa. You can make us see it your way. No way. Gasoline and propane. More flames. Oh no. No more snowflakes.
They set us up to fail, that's what they built the system for. Put an ammunition shop across the street from a liquor store. Empowering women used to be different than this before. The role models got OnlyFans or dance on a stripper pole. Screw it,
Okay. Role models nowadays are people who have OnlyFans, who are social media influencers, like, you know, the ones that are on YouTube that are always in the news. I'm not gonna have to say their name. You guys know. The thing is women are constantly pitted against women. Women will constantly be talked down to, regardless if they're being strong in their beliefs and not being problematic. But most men and some other women will say, oh, you're just on your period, or you're just emotional, or you're blowing things out of context. It's like, no, not out of context, out of proportion, sorry. The thing is many a time I have, with my friends or random people on the street, I'm like, hey, simmer down, stop that. Because I do not believe in men belittling men, and I don't believe in women belittling women, and I've called out many a time women belittling men and men belittling women. Everybody should stop belittling one another. The thing is we're human. We're all going to agree. We're all going to disagree. Everyone is entitled to their thoughts. The only thing that I have a problem with is when people talk down to sex workers. Unfortunately, it is the most oldest profession out there. There's a market for it. So cool. You know what? So if that's how some people empower themselves, cool. Some people empower themselves by being fully clothed. Cool. I know that Tom isn't saying, like, talking down to people who use OnlyFans or stripping. He's saying that the only way that people will get any recognition is, she's so brave because she takes her clothes off. Okay, cool, that's fair enough. But there are also women out there who do not take their clothes off and are still just as strong. Mother Teresa. Apparently she was a horrible person, but she did a lot of good. But the best example I can give you is Princess motherfucking Diana. Okay? Princess Diana, she was very modest, but she helped any which way that she could. She would do it. She was an amazing woman. But I find being a woman, and if my partner is there, a man would rather talk to another man. While talking to me, he will talk to my partner instead of me when he's having a conversation with me. It's like, no, you're talking to me, you will face me, you will acknowledge me, because I'm giving you the same respect as acknowledging you while I speak to you. I did not mean to throw in a Roman Reigns reference. But the thing is we need to stop talking down to people when they take their clothes off or when they don't take their clothes off. We need to stop saying, oh, you're just over emotional because it's that time of the month. No. We all deserve to have a platform, whether it's on social media or just talking to a friend and being like, this is what I believe in.
Women used to be different than this before. The role models got OnlyFans or dance on a stripper pole. Screw it, I ain't tripping, I don't mean to be mean. But if our children are the future, then our future is bleak. They take an Adderall to focus, hit McDonald's to eat. They're addicted to phones and they take Xanax to sleep. They blurred the lines dividing communism and democracy. In 2021, we paint the patriots as...
Okay, yes. A lot of the new generation are addicted to their phones. It's because of that instant gratification through likes. They feel that their worth is measured in how many likes that they get. And that is so sad. They should be out there playing in the mud and just having fun. And not worrying about how the world sees them. And they shouldn't be forced. Like, for example, a lot of the pop stars, for example, are forced to sexualize themselves. Prime example, Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish, for the longest time, wore very baggy clothing because she didn't want to sexualize herself because she was underage. When she became of age and started revealing herself, it very tastefully, I might add, like that one shoot where she looks like Marilyn Monroe, that was beautiful. But people were getting up on her saying, oh, she's using her body. She is a singer. Singers market their body, their talent, and their voices, because their voices are what get them those sales. Why is it a big deal? It's her choice. Stop shaming her for her choice and let her be her.
They blurred the lines dividing communism and democracy. In 2021, we paint the patriots as Nazis. The men playing women's sports get trophies for winning. Like, great, let's celebrate a man for beating some women. If you're black, your life matters. You're supposed to embrace...
Okay, I'm going to insert a Blaire White video, actually, down below about this topic for the men playing women's sports and getting trophies for winning, like, great, let's celebrate a man for beating a woman. I'm going to put a couple videos in the description box because Blaire White can explain that a lot better than I can. for a very quick summary, I believe that when you're cis female and a cis male, you guys have, like, we each have different bone structure and musculature structure. When you become trans, or when you are trans and you transition, you still keep your bone structure and bone density, and men, if I recall, have a higher bone density than a woman. So I feel that trans women and trans men should have their own league should they want to fight competitively. Then they're on a level playing field. Again, I'm going to link Blaire White's videos down below, just to shed some more light, because she is a trans woman and she is the beautiful woman that you see in this music video. I hope that helps, and I hope you don't get mad at me.
Winning. Like, great, let's celebrate a man for beating some women. If you're black, your life matters, you're supposed to embrace it. If you're rich or you're smart, then you're probably Asian. If you're gay, then you're brave, all of that I'm okay with. But if you're white, the stereotype is you are a racist. Blaming capitalism like that's the reason things are tough. While you tweet from an iPhone and sip on a Starbucks, you're supporting what you stand against, you don't think you are, but a Percocet addict don't donate money to pharma. Damn, dog, we're all afraid to speak the truth. And the more afraid we get, the more we hate the ones who do. You're ashamed to be American? Okay, that's cool. Cause honestly, we are all ashamed of you too.
Y'all are so fake. Oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa. You can make us see it your way. No way. Gasoline and propane. More flames. Oh no. No more snowflakes.
We can all get along, but there's no stopping.
Hey.
Everybody's wrong, that's a real problem.
Hey.
They don't want to hear it, but they still talking.
Hey.
Soon enough, we running out of options.
Hey.
This ain't gonna end till it's in the coffin.
Hey.
We ain't gonna be friends till we try to squash it.
Hey.
I don't know how we can make amends or we drop it. Snowflakes melt when it's hot, kid.
Y'all are so fake. Oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa. You can make us see it your way. No way. Gasoline and propane. More flames. Oh no. No more snowflakes.
Honestly, guys, I feel like this music video isn't even that bad. The song isn't even that bad. Like, when people were popping off, I thought it was, like, really, really bad, alright? I thought it was gonna be really bad. Honestly, I think some of the topics that he chose in this song differ from Fake Woke. This song is basically calling out the government, and when they try and get you to vote for them, they will lie out of their teeth. But when we try and either fuck the government and do what we want to, or when we don't realize that there are this law and that law because we don't know, we get screwed over and go to prison for it. He brought up about guns. That's a huge topic in the States right now. Huge. He brought up the he, him, her, them, they, and she, which is another huge topic for the left. He did use the one word that most people don't really use, but I can see why he used it, because it worked in the sense, but like I said, there's going to be things that I will agree with, because I do have some views on the right, and I do have some views on the left, and I'm more of a centrist. Millennials get a bad rap. Most of the millennials are just trying to live life. We were promised flying cars, financial stability, and affordable homes. Well, we ain't got any of that. Most of us millennials are born between 1980 and 95, or is it 85 and 95? Either way, we're millennials. I'm technically a motherfucking millennial, and honestly, I don't cry out at a lot of things. A lot of things don't bother me because I've been in a poor area. I've seen injustices to many walks of life. I've even risen to middle classdom at one point. But honestly, there are some things that some people are like, ooh, but it's not as bad as fake woke. I don't think, anyway. Let me just pull up those lyrics. I think it's crazy and labeled controversial. Cardi B. Okay, so right off the hop, Cardi B being a role model for 12-year-olds, I think that's not a good thing. But if I mention race in a song, I'm scared to get killed for it. Well, he mentioned a little bit of that in the song. He brought the gun thing up in this one, but this one is true. That one is true. Because I listened to some old school Eminem growing up. It was a thing. Rock on top of this one is this line right here. As children, we were taught to walk and talk, but the system wants adults to sit down and shut up. This one is true. Cancel culture runs the world now, which is true. Anytime the far left disagrees with something, you're labeled as a homophobic or racist, which is true. When you're white, people assume that you are privileged and guilty by association. He talks about Thanksgiving and how it's bad because of how the whites treated the indigenous people. Honestly, I think fake woke was a little bit stronger in message. This one is not as bad. They're both bad in different aspects, but they're also very good because they are shedding light onto topics that we need to know, that a lot of us have been thinking about and talking about, but not in a platform or a place of power has been really brought up. Listen to the song again.
If you lie to the government, they'll put you in prison. But when they lie to all of us, it's called being a politician. You think taking guns away will save our kids from the killings, but you're pro-choice. Abortion kills way more children. If America's so terrible and racist, it probably isn't safe to encourage immigration. Just saying, all the contradictions are embarrassing. You know who hates America the most? Americans. Trigger warnings used to be on TV for seizures, and now they're everywhere to protect millennials' feelings. He, she, his, him, hers, them, they. Screw a pronoun, cause everyone's a retard these days. I hear him preaching at the protest that hatred's the problem, but hating straight men, white folks, and Christians is common. Coca-Cola.
So he made a point where hating straight men, white folks, and Christians is common. So a lot of people go after cis white men because apparently they're not allowed to have an opinion about anything. Sorry. I like how this is the time when everyone starts bothering me. People get up on cis white men for not having an opinion, not allowed to have an opinion because they're cis and they're white. So what do they know about this, that, and the other thing? You do forget that white men run the world. And you need allies with those types of people because guess where they are mostly? In politics. If you can get into the ear of somebody who's like-minded like you can get your agenda furthered along. And usually those people are white, they're male, and they usually have a religion. It's facts. Unfortunate as it is, it's facts. The thing is we need to stop fighting hate with hate, or else you're gonna get nowhere. And that's what's happening in this day and age. People are like, well, they treated me like shit, so I'm gonna treat them like shit. No, be the bigger person, rise higher, and smother them with kindness, essentially. Like, I've been fighting tooth and nail since I was growing up. I've been hurt many a times, but I'm still a happy-go-lucky person that has some problems that is just trying to get through life and make something of myself. We need to stop hating on everybody, especially the cis white men. Because, yeah, some of them are stuck in their ways, but that's what they were taught. Is it just our job, whether you're a part of the LGBTQAI plus community or some other group, it is our job to try and educate. Without education, you don't know. And if you don't know, how are you supposed to correct your mistakes, you know?
At the protest that hatred's the problem, but hating straight men, white folks, and Christians is common. Coca-Cola telling people they should be less white. They preach intolerance, but if you disagree, they fight. There's a race war here, elections based on fear. Black lives only matter once every 4 years. Soldiers died for this country, and every one of us benefits. Give welfare to the bums and forget about the veterans. Black folks and white folks divided.
Also, the thing about veterans, I don't know how it is in the States, other than a few of my friends who have served have said they get no help whatsoever, and it's sad. My ex-partner, he was in the Canadian Forces. I got to meet some people who needed help when they came back from certain wars. And there wasn't any funding. The VAs, the Veteran Affairs offices, were closed because they were underfunded, or they were just simply too overworked because there was not enough resources for everybody. And it's unfortunate that a lot of them committed suicide. They do us a service. They give their whole selves for our country. But the same people, the military, will fuck over their own people. I have 2 friends who have been fucked over by the Canadian military, where they got injured on the job and they got no compensation for that, and then they had to leave with nothing, and they have life altering issues. They give us more than their lives, and we treat them like shit, and that shouldn't be a thing. No matter where you are, they've done us a service so that we can live the lives that we can be having. So you can get upset over every little thing. They should have some recognition. And it should be more than... It should be recognized when they come back home fucked up because of certain things that they saw. They shouldn't have to die in order to get the recognition that they fucking deserve.
One of us benefits, give welfare to the bums and forget about the veterans. Black folks and white folks divided by the news, but we are all the same. We are red, white, and blue. Ashamed to be American? Okay, that's cool. Cause honestly, we are all ashamed of you too.
Y'all are so fake. Oh no, the forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane, more flames. No more snowflakes.
They set us up to fail, that's what they built the system for. Put an ammunition shop across the street from a liquor store. Empowering women used to be different than this before. The role models got OnlyFans or dance on a stripper pole. Screw it, I ain't tripping, I don't mean to be mean.
Sometimes, because I've known many, sex workers, sometimes they're using the way of stripping, for example, as a way to pay off debts because it's fast, easy money. Some of them have become pharmacists. Some of them just enjoy it because that's what empowers them. Not all of them have come from broken homes. Not all of them have come from, having daddy issues and stuff. Some of them do it because that's what they like to do, and they found what they're good at. It's the oldest profession in the fucking world. They should get the same, recognition. I know that's not what Tom is saying, but I just had to put it out there.
The role models got OnlyFans or dance on a stripper pole. Screw it, I ain't tripping, I don't mean to be mean. But if our children are the future, then our future is bleak. They take an Adderall to focus, hit McDonald's to eat. They're addicted to phones and they take Xanax to sleep. They blurred the lines dividing communism and democracy. In 2021, we paint the patriots as Nazis. The men playing women's sports get trophies for winning. Like, great, let's celebrate a man for beating some women. If you're black, your life matters, you're supposed to embrace it. If you're rich or you're smart, then you're probably Asian. If you're gay, then you're brave, all of that I'm okay with. But if you're white, the stereotype is you are a racist.
See, he even said, like, in this line here, if you are gay, then you are brave. All of that, I am okay with. He's saying, I don't care if you're gay. Yeah, you're brave. That's cool. I'm okay with that. But again, it still plays into, if you're white and if you're a man, you're racist. You're a bigot. You're misogynistic, which most of the time it's kind of true. But again, it's the way that they have been brought up. It is changeable, should they want to change. But a lot of the time, they're just put on the chopping block. We do not give cis white men a chance to defend themselves without being slapped with those labels of racist and stuff, you know? It needs to stop. Stop jumping the gun. Get to know someone's views and why they have those views. If you're good about it, you might be able to help evolve their opinion.
If you're gay, then you're brave, all of that I'm okay with. But if you're white, the stereotype is you are a racist. Blaming capitalism like that's the reason things are tough. While you tweet from an iPhone and sip on a Starbucks, you're supporting what you stand against, you don't think you are. But a Percocet addict don't donate money to pharma. Damn dog, we're all afraid to speak the truth. And the more afraid we get, the more we hate the ones who do. You're ashamed to be American? Okay, that's cool. Cause honestly, we are all ashamed of you too.
Y'all are so fake, oh no. The forecast said that there'd be snowflakes. Whoa, you can make us see it your way. No way, gasoline and propane. More flames, oh no, no more snowflakes.
We can all get along, but there's no stopping. Ay, everybody's wrong, that's a real problem. Ay, they don't want to hear it, but they still talking. Ay, soon enough, we running out of options. Ay, this ain't gonna end till it's in the coffin. Ay, we ain't gonna be friends till we try to squash it. Ay, I don't know how we can make amends or we drop it. Snowflakes melt when it's hot, kid.
Y'all are so.
So, I see his line, snowflakes melt when it's hot, kid. I've seen many a time when someone is trying to come at me, they think that they're joking. But they don't realize that every time that I post a stance that I believe in, they're always attacking me. And when I bring someone in to correct them, because let's say we're talking about comic books, all right? Let's bring in the saying of, we're talking about comic books. I'm going to bring in a couple friends who are a little bit more knowledgeable in those comic books because I don't have access to comic books. They're too expensive for me, so I don't have comic books. So I'm going to bring in a couple friends or a partner who know that. Well, they were proven wrong, the person who was attacking me, and then instantly attacked my partner, called him names, and then unfriended me and blocked my partner. He said he was joking, but it's not the first time that that person has come at me just because I have a certain view that he disagreed with. It's like, you're the one who came at me. I brought someone who is knowledgeable. You couldn't take the heat. You got mad and ran away with your tail between your legs. They ran away. So essentially, he melted under pressure. It's like, I might not agree with somebody. I'll put my 2 cents in. And I might not word it correctly. It might be too wordy to the point where someone might get confused and misconstrue what I'm trying to say. They might miss the whole point and only read what they want to read within what I say. Alright? the thing is I can either A, attack them and call them names under the sun, or I can be like, this isn't worth my time, I'm just gonna walk away. There's a time and a place to fight. There really is. Anyway, guys. Damn it. It's a long video again. Anyway, this was a lot to unpack. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I try to be as unbiased as possible. I try to bridge gaps and try and explain things. Honestly, I find the video not as bad as some of my friends were making it out. To be honest, not that bad. But again, I'm a centrist, so some of the things that he said, I know that he's not that way, because I kind of have some, I have some bias only because I do, on occasion, speak with Tom MacDonald. So I kind of get the gist of what he says and whatnot. Anyway, guys, thank you guys so much. It's been a blast, and I'll see you all later.